Hello, everybody. It is Andy, and today we are talking hormones. And this can go for men and for women, but I am mainly going to be talking about my experience with getting my hormones checked out. I want you guys to understand, number one, I am not a doctor, but I do strongly advocate for taking your health into your own hands, advocating for yourself, and doing the things so that you know what is going on with your body. Okay? Second of all, I am not talking about that you need to do this. I'm saying what has worked for me, and I am saying that I believe that it could be beneficial for you. Now, do you have to do it? Absolutely not. But, I think it's a good idea. Okay, now that that is out of the fucking way. So I had a wonderful conversation yesterday where I mentioned to somebody that I get my hormones checked out 3 to 4 times a year. They were like, oh my God, are we supposed to be doing that? We're relatively the same age. And I'm like, no, I do it that often because I am a bodybuilder. I put myself through a lot of extremes. I work out 4 hours a day. I go to an extremely low percentage of body fat. Like, I need to make sure that my health is optimal so that I can put myself through all this rigorous exercise and dieting, right? However, I do recommend that people get it done because one of several things is going to happen. Okay. Well, there's really 3 outcomes. 1, you get your hormones checked out, you get all of this blood work done, and everything comes back perfectly normal, wonderful. Now you have a baseline. So let's say you're perfectly fine right now and everything comes back normal. Great. Next year, you feel like crap. Okay. Then you get some blood work done, but they're kind of on the low side. They're not necessarily out of range, but they are on the low side. So all of a sudden, you don't know what your baseline is. You don't know where you're normally supposed to be. So how are you going to know that your hormone levels are tanking? You don't. Okay. So get one so that it's your baseline. Okay. So that's the first thing that can happen. The second thing that can happen is, like I was just saying, you get the blood work done, but in the range of whatever hormone it is that you are looking at, that it is on the lower end. Now, you can use that to advocate for yourself and say, hey, I believe that this is really on the low end. Yeah, it's still in the range, but what would happen if I optimized those hormones and got to the higher end of the range? Maybe I would feel better. Maybe I would sleep better. Maybe my digestion would be better. We don't know. But these are discussions that you can have with your doctor in order to be able to be like, okay, well, I'm experiencing symptoms and it is on the low side. So maybe we can address that. Okay. And the third thing that can possibly happen is that you go and get your hormones checked out and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, red flags are being thrown up left and right. And you can finally begin to address these issues. Okay. So what are some symptoms of hormone deficiency? Now, it's going to vary depending on which hormones it is that we're talking about. We can talk about, especially ones that I believe affect a lot of the people that I have spoken with are inability to lose weight, sleep issues, sexual dysfunction, digestion issues, just overall feeling like you can't get enough sleep, like just exhaustion, extreme exhaustion. And honestly, you could just Google what the symptoms are of different hormonal issues. Like, I believe there was some statistic that was like, especially here in the Northeast, something along the lines of like 70% of us are vitamin D deficient. Now, I do not know more than 2 people who are taking vitamin D supplements, and I am one of them. Now, Could it be that I know other people who are taking vitamin D supplements? Yes, but I talk about this stuff enough for people to like tell me, yeah, no, I take vitamin D also. A lot of people do not say that. So, the fact that we are a society here in the Northeast that it could potentially be vitamin D deficient and nobody's taking it is a bigger problem. But it does lead to this issue about like, okay, why aren't people taking care of themselves? Why aren't they, if you feel like crap, don't you want to feel better? And so the way that like I have always done this, and in most states, you can actually order the hormone testing that I'm talking about. You can order it yourself. Now, there are some states that do not allow you. I think it's like 2 or 3. Rhode Island, you're screwed. But here in Massachusetts, you can order your own labs. You do not have to go to your doctor and wait for them. There are independent labs where you can order them, make an appointment the next day, get your blood drawn, and they send you the results to an app. Now, a lot of people find getting the results themselves to be very intimidating because they need a doctor to interpret them. And so, yes, there are hormone clinics that can assist you with that, or you can get the testing done yourself and then go to your primary care and be like, hey, let's talk about it because I just did this testing and I would like you to interpret them for me. You kind of got to force their hand. The way that I have seen that most general practitioners will work, well, they will give you basically a generalized not hormone panel, but like blood work. So they will have this generalized blood work that's done. And if nothing in that generalized blood work actually throws up any red flags, and they're like, no, you are okay. I cannot refer you to any sort of specialist. We cannot do anything further. And this is, in my opinion, based off like insurance issues, because insurance isn't going to cover it if there's no medical reason to need these tests. So yes, you're going to have to come out of pocket for this testing. However, when you order it yourself, it can be a little bit cheaper. Because you don't have to pay for the doctor's visit on top of it until you get the results. Now, that being said, you have to know which ones to order. And so there are companies, like I said, where you can order them yourself. Well, they will have different packets that will explain to you what type of testing it is done. And I'm going to tell you guys the testing that I get done because I think that it is important. Okay, this is what I get done. So I get done the complete blood count, CBC, which is like the general one that you can get done at any doctor's house. Same thing with the comprehensive metabolic profile. You also get a lipid panel, which are like the fats and your liver stuff. Then you do your thyroid profile, you get your vitamin D, you get FSH and LH, which we're starting to get into the female hormones, which is also the estradiol, progesterone. You get your vitamin B12 checked. You get your cortisol level checked, which is your stress hormone, and also your testosterone. Yes, women, get your testosterone checked. We do have testosterone. So they differentiate between how much a man should have and how much a woman should have. So those are the ones that I get done. And I believe that once you know what is going on with your body, you can better maneuver when you have issues coming up. Okay. Now, can this be a little bit pricey? Yes, for some. But what's the price of your health? Think about that. You're sitting there feeling like dog doo-doo and you're just wasting away because you don't know what's going on with your body versus, and the people who feel like they're perfectly fine and perfectly healthy, great, but it's a long-term investment in understanding more about your body. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, shoot me a message on my Instagram, coach_Andy_Hoffer, HOFFER. That's right. 2 F's, y'all. And let me know, because have you done it? What do you recommend? Maybe I'm missing something. But like you guys, I'm all about knowing what's going on with you. I'm all about taking care of your health. And I think that checking your hormones is one of the best ways to do that. Okay. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Love you guys.